today's scripture, I would like to change it up and focus on the resurrection. Aside from Christmas, this is one of my favorite holidays, the birth and resurrection of Jesus Christ. This is such a moving moment in everyone's life and what happens during the resurrection and leading up to it. The chapter reference I want to quickly review is Luke 24. Throughout this passage, I find it very interesting how very repeatedly the angels and Jesus have to remind everyone that this is going to happen. Verse 7, the Son of Man must be delivered over to the hands of sinners, be crucified, and on the third day be raised again. He has said this more than once, but yet when this all happens, everyone is surprised, shocked, or in disbelief. But why? Was it because it was too good to be true? I mean, back in Jerusalem, when he spoke to the disciples, he asked in verse 38, why are you troubled? And why do doubts rise in your minds? Everyone's still in shock, okay? I mean, let's be honest. If someone we know and love very much has passed away, and before they pass away, they tell us that they'll be back in 3 days and really come back like they have never left, wouldn't you not be surprised or in some disbelief, even though they were physically there? I know I would, which is why this message is so crucial. The purpose behind Jesus' death and resurrection is so that we could be saved. This was all set long before his suffering, and he had to do this, and he had to come back so that it could spread to everyone and that they can be allowed into the kingdom of heaven. He told them, this is what is written, the Messiah will suffer and rise from the dead on the third day, and repentance for the forgiveness of sins will be preached in his name to all nations, beginning at Jerusalem. You are witnesses of these things. I am going to send you what my Father has promised, but stay in the city until you have been clothed with power from on high. Jesus knew what he was doing. That was his message, and that is the message we spread. And he fulfilled his purpose for us so that we could live. He said it to the disciples, you are witnesses. They had a responsibility to spread the good news. And why wouldn't they? They witnessed the unbelievable. But God knew with doing that, his message would spread to everyone and be passed down from generation to generation. Which brings me to John 20:29, which states, because you have seen me, you have believed. Blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed. That's us. And why do I believe? Because I'm still here. I've seen God do miracles in other people's lives, if not more than my own. Through my prayers and those prayers being answered when I know it was not because of me in no way at all. It's unexplainable. He died so that we could have life, and not to mention life abundantly. So yes, I believe, and I pray you do too. Please stay tuned for the rest of today's show.
Self-worth. Why is it important? When you consider your worth as a woman, what comes to mind? Or do you even consider your worth at all? Perhaps the subject of worthiness, your value, comes up for you time and time again. Nothing is more important than how you feel and how you think about yourself. A high opinion about yourself and who you are and what you do, basically a love for yourself, is always a thing that you need to always make sure is at the top of your list. And in society, it's not always what's important. Why is it important about your true worth? It's important because it's for you to recognize your self-worth. Why is it important to understand your true worth, your inner value? it's not just important to recognize your self-worth, but it is critical that you do. Your survival and your sense of well-being virtually depends on it. You are worth it, but it's up to you. You're in charge of that. And you're also the one who needs to endorse and project that to others. When you recognize your worth, you are more inclined to strive to fulfill your potential. And having done that, you'll be happier. Women who are successful exude a sense of confidence in themselves, and they realize that they are the directors of their own destiny. And therefore, they take a positive stance and they look forward. The first step in acknowledging and accessing your worth, your value, and your sense of fulfillment is to take an honest, what I call, personal assessment. Yes, that means to look at yourself so that you can truly look within to recognize your abilities and validate yourself. And also, you need to be able to do this before anyone else can validate you. By owning your worth, you honor women everywhere, and the butterfly effect of your actions will ultimately reach others, one person at a time.
We're living in a zombie land of lost souls. The only love cracks us and make us whole.
Hope you like my music. If you really liked it, you can check me out on my website at aservant.org. You can subscribe to me on YouTube. Just make sure that you stay connected to me, because I want to know you, and I think that you should know the person I know.
Living in a zombie land.
Hello and welcome to Beautiful Me TV. I'm your host, Crystal Holmes, and I am with one of the visionaries and ladies of the Now We Know movement and campaign. And, I found this very interesting because, as women, our health is very crucial and our wellness is very important. And the fact that you all have this movement to help inform and educate women on the different products that are out there about, what it can do to your body, but something else, having an alternative that is even better to help women. So I want to know, what is the inspiration behind the Now We Know movement and what got you ladies involved with it?
Absolutely. Well, first I want to say thank you, Ms. Holmes, for having me
Thank you.
and Mrs. Ezzie Wilson on today on your show out of Houston, Texas. This is phenomenal what you're doing. I'm very proud of you. Being a millennial and taking such a spearheading movement. So hats off to you for your emotional courage that it takes to do things like this, and just, for operating with a spirit of excellence. So again, thank you so much. But what inspired me to be a part of a movement called Now We Know is just really simple. I'm a 2-time cancer survivor. Okay, I had cancer at 15 years young, cervical cancer, and 27 years young, colon cancer. Another thing that really inspired me about educating and empowering women and men about the dangerous side effects and the toxins and things that's in current feminine items that we're going to be talking about that we use every day is that none of the women on my mother's side have lived to see their 59th birthday, with my mother passing away at 36 years young. And so when those type of dynamics happen in your life and you're very young, you become very sensitive. And I would have never fathomed in a million years that there was something that already existed over in Asia for about 2 decades that addresses cervical cancer, ovarian cancer, it addresses breast cancer. It addresses women that have heavy, painful menstrual cycles, okay? And it even addresses, in some facets, fibroids. And so because I'm a woman that have had 8 children, a mother of 8 children, with my last pregnancy, Hannah, my fibroids were it was atrocious. And it was so painful. I used to have a feminine flow called a menstrual cycle, 10 to 20 days every month. So when I was pregnant with her, I didn't even know I was pregnant until I was 6 months pregnant. Okay. And so a very dear friend of mine, one of the main visionaries of the Now We Know movement, Mr. Damon Coleman, we spoke one day back in September. He shared a lot of information and education and even inspiration that I wanted to take a closer look at a product that had been over in Asia, and they wanted to bring it to North America. And so one thing that you'll find very interesting about our product called Cherish, and our tagline is Love the Way You Feel. We're offering a solution. We're offering a remedy, but not a healing component or anything like that, because we don't make medical claims. But I can tell you some medical facts about me and other women that have used the product. Is that one, a person's menstrual cycle has been shortened. So someone that has typically a menstrual cycle for a few weeks is down to 2 and 3 days. We have the main testimony that keeps coming in is we love the way it feels. There's no leakage. There's no odor. And see, these are the things that, you know, we as women don't like to talk about. It's very sensitive subjects that we have issues in that area, and we have to, some of us have to be on antibiotics for the odor. See, there's a chemical that really has me appalled, that most brands that we trust and their household brands that we currently use as our choice of sanitary napkins, that has a chemical inside of it called dioxin. Dioxin is stronger than cyanide. Yeah, it's stronger than cyanide. Dioxin has been linked to women who have battled with cervical cancer, ovarian cancer, breast cancer, chronic yeast infections, unexplained miscarriages, UTIs, PID, you name it. And nobody's talking about it. And the reason why people, I don't think, is talking about it, because they did not have the answers. They did not have the solution until now, because now we know. And so, again, we're just honored and privileged and humbled to be a part of the spearheading moment of phase 1 in this. And millions of people, when they try our product, they're going to love it. It's going to add value to their life and potentially save women's lives. And that's right there. You know, how can anyone, once you learn about this, and you just let it pass you by, or you don't feel responsible or have a mandate to share this with the world? We opened up where people could pre-register for free to get more information and join the movement back in January, late part of January, and within 30 days had over 70,000 people join the movement. You mean to tell me the sanitary napkin that you're using could potentially be killing you?
And very harmful.
Are you do you understand what I'm saying? I mean, that really. And so we're getting the word out. And of course, we're not getting the word out that way, but we are dealing with women that are suffering in silence. And a lot of people laugh, you know, women that go through this. I was a woman that went through depression during that time of the month. I'm talking about I would cancel money. I would not go to corporate events. I would not go to events as an entrepreneur because my menstrual cycle was so bad. And you mean to tell me we have a solution
for that?
To that? Yes. And a solution to depression, because that's what it's about. Because we have something in our sanitary napkin that you're going to deem absolutely amazing, and that's negative ions. And we also have an algae strip. Now, negative ions is made from God. Negative ions is a thing you feel when you're on the beach, when you're in the sun rays. Negative ions, I tell you, it's amazing how we have put this sanitary napkin together. There's no one that can compete with this, at least not yet. Because, you know, when people hear about things, they want to try to come in, but there's nobody that can duplicate this. Well, maybe duplicate. Okay, they maybe can duplicate it, but I tell you one thing, it's going to be very hard to create not only the product that we have created, but the momentum, the culture, the leadership, the love that we have. This is a blessed movement. It's a lot of favor on this movement and the men and women that have been believing with us since day one. And I'm just very humbled to be here today along with strong leader, Miss Izzy Wilson, that set this interview up for us.
No, this is really great. And just you said a lot, and I'm hoping that you all are paying attention. But something key that stood out to me, the fact that you were saying that, you know, the whole mental depression aspect and the side effects that people have just with their cycles, because I know people personally that are dealing with that, and this, like, now knowing about it and just from what you said and what you shared just now, I'm definitely sharing it. That by itself can really help them to, you know, battle with that. And so
Right.
I wanted to know also with this and those that are on like birth controls or
Sure.
other contraceptives, just the napkin itself, the sanitary napkin
Does it
itself,
affect
does it affect that?
adversely any type
Right.
of birth control method?
Right. Like if somebody has, you know, the
Sure,
shot
sure,
or,
sure.
you know, the pill.
There's been nothing negative that
Okay.
we have heard about it affecting someone who's on birth control because, again, this is a sanitary napkin for a menstrual cycle.
Right.
People are not only using our sanitary napkin for their menstrual cycle, but there are some women that don't like to talk about this, but they suffer with urinary incontinence. Yes, especially after they have so many babies, they cannot hold their urine, okay? And they're constantly dripping through the day, and they're wearing dangerous sanitary napkins or
Right.
panty liners. What's unnatural is you hearing this information today, that there's something that is depleting the value of your life or potentially could be killing someone that you know, okay? And what's unnatural is you continuing to use those products.
Right.
That's what's unnatural.
You know.
But there's nothing in our products that are harmful. We have had this medically tested, beta tested by medical doctors.
Right.
You know, I have a doctorate in philosophy and divinity, not medical, but I have common sense. And I know this, that I have buried too many of my friends. I've gone to too many funerals with young girls in their 20s and 30s with toxic shock syndrome from the tampons that they're using. But once I did my research and I really understood what they put in tampons that cause us to bleed even more and that's causing toxic shock syndrome, it blew my mind. I will never, ever use another tampon again. But I encourage each and every one of you that's listening on today, to the sound of my voice, to please do your own research about tampons. Research the word dioxin. Research the words negative ions and algae strips. I want to encourage you to do that today. And what you find is once you try Cherish, you won't use anything else. It's so light, the way it feels. It's almost like
That's
a
gonna be
second
my
layer
next
of
thing.
skin.
Like how is the
Sometimes
comfortability?
forget that you even
You
aware
Are
of
there
it.
you
on
go.
it. Yeah,
That's
good.
another testimony
and I'm sure
that we
we
get
all
over and over.
we all want that.
Yeah. Testimonies coming in that they have had a sanitary napkin called Cherish on for up to 24 hours. One sanitary napkin because our
day.
absorption system is so phenomenal. Many testimonies coming in that their menstrual cycle has been cut in half or down to a few days, and
Now
the
that's
pain
good.
that a woman experiences minimized, in some cases pain completely gone.
Gone. Look. Well, we can all use that. So, Ezzy, please share, your side and just with all of this and getting involved, how is it?
First of all, it's been simply an awesome and amazing journey.
For me, this movement was very personal to me. Just recently, about a year ago, I've been, actually for a few years, I've been dealing with fibroids, but just as recent as a year ago, I was diagnosed with endometriosis. And the reason that, that I found out was because I was having very painful menstrual cramps to the point to where I couldn't get out of bed some mornings. I had to call in from work. I also have a daughter, who's school aged, and so I would actually have to get her father or someone in the family to take her to school because I couldn't get out of bed. And so this movement is very, very, very personal to me. And so like Dr. Helen stated, it's one of these movements that I would absolutely do it for free just because of the benefits. Okay, I've actually been able to use the Cherish pad, and it's the best thing since sliced bread, and you guys know I love sliced bread. But yes, it's been awesome. Since I've been using Cherish, I've had no odor issues, and most importantly, the pain. I do not cramp.
Wow.
Okay. For me, and every story is different for everyone, but I know for myself, I can only speak for myself, I don't cramp when I'm using Cherish. I'm able to get out of bed, I'm able to function, I'm able to go to work, take my daughter to school, be involved, and it's no thanks to Cherish. So like I said, this movement is very personal. I encourage everyone to be able to share this information with whoever may be suffering. If they know, go ahead and share this information. We have a lot of great videos, great testimonies that we can share, that we're just willing to share. And so we're able to do that. And so once again, I appreciate you for letting us come on, on your set and sharing with everyone the information about our movement.
And can you share
so
that
proud of her.
information? Yes. So can you please share that information for the movement where people can get it?
Yes, if you guys have any questions about the movement, we do have our website where you guys
guys can reach out, go online, and it has a lot of key information about the movement. If you guys have any questions and you want to reach out to any of us, that's healthandwealthincrease@gmail.com, where you can shoot us any questions, comments, concerns. We respond back to every email that we receive, and we'll be able to share some awesome information with you guys.
And they are great at responding. I mean, as we've been in contact with you,
Yes.
you are great. So
I want to give
you
that
will
link
get
out.
that out.
It's under construction, but give it a couple of days and go to Let's Get Healthy and Wealthy.org.
Yes.
Let's Get
Okay.
Healthy and Wealthy.org. That's right.
Yes, thank you. And so before we close, please, Dr. Helen, can you share about your book, Believe One More Time?
Oh, wow.
I
Okay.
do want to touch base on this. So how to become a better you. Can you just tell us about it? And I'll actually
Wow.
you want to
Well,
hold
okay.
it and show it and share
I
it.
didn't think we was going to have time today to talk
But
about
you
this.
know, I really want you to
Okay.
be able to share.
Well, good deal.
Please.
Believe One More Time. This is a compelling story, a true story of my life up until the age of 33 years young. And I talk about some very sensitive matters. I talk about subjects that are painful. I share a lot of adversity that I've faced from the age of being born, 2 pounds, 3 ounces, addicted to drugs. My mother was a prostitute. My father was her pimp. And I share hurdles in life about being molested, being raped, having my first baby at 13 years young, having experience of being 15 years old with cervical cancer, okay, getting married at the age of 17 to someone that I didn't know his middle name was Ike, and I was going to be his Tina. And so I share a lot about some very personal things that I'm finding out that women and men have dealt with some of these same things, and they live in shame. And so I give principles, I share principles and solutions of how you can flip your pain into purpose. What you learn when you're reading books like this and you apply them, it exudes from your pores. Before you know it, you're renewed in the mind and in the spirit. And then you learn about how to reinvent yourself after a casualty, after World War V happens,
Right.
after a catastrophic storm happens in your life. So a lot of people go through this, they just don't know how to pick up the pieces if they only knew how. So I talk a little bit about that in my book, and people are like, what? I can't believe Dr. Helen went through that. But I made some very bad choices because I did not know who I was or whose I was at that time in my life. And so prayerfully, my journey, my testimonies will be a blessing to somebody, and they can say, you know what, I'm not going to end it. I'm going to begin it. I'm going to create a new story. I'm not going to dwell on my old story. I'm going to create a new story for my life, for my future, for my destiny, and to create legacy. Not only legacy wealth, but legacy health. Because without your health, you have nothing. We don't like to talk about anything that makes us feel inadequate. So we have learned from our grandparents, from our parents, from television, the Cosby shows, shows like that we grew up on, how to wear a mask and pretend that it's okay. Pretend that we're getting through. Pretend when we're barely getting by. That most of us get out of bed and we don't even feel like we're alive. We're living, but we're not alive. So after reading this book, people come alive again.
Yes,
They're
I
dreaming
love
again.
it.
They're hoping again. More importantly, they're believing one more time.
Yes, and I'm so glad you were able to share, because like I said, this platform, this show is to inspire people, and health and wellness is the key this season, but I'm so glad you shared
you.
your book.
I appreciate
and I
that.
really hope that you all
Yeah, you can
again,
get it from
show
Amazon,
yes,
and this
where we
summer
can get that.
it'll be in every major bookstore. So I've been very blessed with this book project.
Congratulations.
Yep, I'm very blessed with this book project and working on my 4th book now. So,
Okay.
yep, really
All
excited.
right. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for staying tuned with us, and please stay tuned. If you are interested in being a part of the show, share your expertise in health, fitness, or wellness, please let me know. Reach out to me at info@beautifulmetv.com. Be sure to follow me on all my social sites. I'm on Facebook, Instagram at Beautiful Me TV, and on Twitter I am at Beautiful Me HOU. Be sure to look me up. Website is beautifulmetv.com, and you can see all the latest episodes. All of last season is on there. I'm Crystal Holmes with Beautiful Me TV, your overall spiritual wellness.